Men don't lose love because they care too much. They lose because they misunderstood the game. They traded years, money, and their very dignity, believing in rules that never existed. What feels like betrayal is often just biology. What feels like unfairness is really instinct. And what feels like love fading overnight is usually a pattern that was there from the start. He just didn't see it. Most men are blind to the silent strategies women live by. They confuse emotion with equity, loyalty with logic, and promises with permanence. That blindness is why they wake up shocked, asking themselves, how did this happen? The truth is, it didn't just happen. It was predictable. It was written in behavior, hidden in tests, buried in instincts that women will never admit out loud. Today, those secrets come to light. These are the 5 truths women don't want men to know, and once you see them, you'll never see relationships the same way again. Women test without warning. She'll subtly challenge you, not to see you fail, but to measure your strength, certainty, and backbone. These tests reveal more than any words she says. Attraction isn't about looks alone. A man's confidence, presence, and self-control often outweigh physical appearance. What she craves is how you make her feel, not just how you look. Indifference creates obsession. The less emotionally available you are, the more she invests. Women are drawn to men they cannot fully predict or control. She respects boundaries. More than gifts, effort, money, and gestures mean little without self-respect. A man who enforces his standards is far more valuable than one who constantly pleases. Her desire is rooted in uncertainty. Predictability kills attraction. Mystery and discipline keep her desire alive longer than any amount of comfort or security. Mind. Women test without warning. Every man thinks he understands women until he experiences her tests. What most never realize is that these tests are not random. They are deliberate, instinctive, and deeply rooted in female psychology. Women are wired to test a man's strength, his certainty, and his ability to lead. She might pick a small argument over something meaningless, change her mood without explanation, or challenge a decision you've already made. To the untrained man, it feels confusing, frustrating, even unfair. But underneath, every test has one purpose: to measure your frame. Frame is the invisible boundary that defines how much influence she has over you and how much you stand firm in who you are. When a woman tests you, she is really asking, are you consistent, or do you crumble the moment I push back?
Do you remain calm when I create chaos, or do you lose control and chase my approval? Her attraction is tied to your response. Pass her tests with confidence, and her respect for you grows. Fail them, and her attraction quietly dies. The truth is, women don't consciously plan these tests. They are instinctual, much like a lioness stalking prey to see if it runs or stands its ground. A man who overreacts, begs, or explains himself endlessly reveals weakness. A man who smiles, remains composed, and continues leading without apology shows strength. She may never admit it out loud, but she respects the man who doesn't flinch when she tests him. What most men get wrong is thinking that pleasing her will prevent the test from happening. It won't. The stronger her attraction, the more she will test. It's her way of confirming that you are who you say you are. Think of it like a security system. It keeps filtering out weak energy and validating the strong. If you fail, she doesn't always walk away immediately, but she files it in the back of her mind. Fail enough times and the spark is gone. This is why so many men feel blindsided when a woman leaves. They think everything was fine because they gave her love, time, and effort. What they didn't see was how often they failed the silent exams she placed in front of them. Attraction isn't about looks alone. The biggest misconception men carry is believing women are obsessed with physical appearance the way men are. Yes, she may notice a sharp jawline, broad shoulders, or a well-kept body, but those things only catch her eye for a moment. What keeps her invested, what truly pulls her deeper, has nothing to do with muscles or perfect symmetry. Attraction for a woman is built on how a man carries himself, how he makes her feel in his presence, and whether or not he radiates the kind of confidence that cannot be faked. A man who looks flawless but carries insecurity will always lose to the man who owns the room without needing anyone's validation. Women are highly sensitive to energy. They pick up on posture, tone of voice, eye contact, and the way you handle pressure. If you can remain calm under stress, laugh at setbacks, and hold your ground when challenged, You become far more magnetic than a man relying only on his appearance. Looks may spark curiosity, but your inner frame determines whether that spark grows into fire.
Another layer men overlook is self-control. The man who isn't desperate, who doesn't jump at every opportunity to impress or prove himself, automatically separates from the rest. Women notice when a man values his time and doesn't hand out his attention cheaply. The ability to walk away, to remain indifferent when she tries to manipulate emotion, makes her chase harder than any flashy car or designer outfit ever could. The truth is, women are wired to crave feelings. They want to feel safe, yet excited. They want to feel desired, yet challenged. They want to feel that the man in front of them can lead without being swayed by their moods. That combination of stability and unpredictability is what creates obsession. Looks are just the cover of the book, but presence is the story that keeps her reading. When a woman talks about a man she can't forget, it's rarely because of his six-pack or his height. It's because of the way he made her feel like the world couldn't shake him, and in his presence, she couldn't control herself. 3. Indifference creates obsession. There is a paradox in female psychology that most men never grasp. The harder you chase, the faster she runs. The more attention you pour out, the less value it carries. What truly captures her interest isn't constant affection, but controlled indifference. When a man shows that his world doesn't revolve around her, when he is calm, whether she stays or goes, her mind begins to obsess over him. Indifference is not about being cold or cruel. It's about projecting that your value does not depend on her validation. A woman's attraction thrives on uncertainty. If she always knows exactly how you'll respond, where you'll be, and how much attention you'll give, the mystery fades. Predictability kills desire. Indifference disrupts this pattern because it keeps her guessing. She wonders why you didn't reply right away, why you didn't bend over backward to please her, why you seemed unaffected when she pulled away. That curiosity creates tension, and tension is the fuel of attraction. The truth is, women are addicted to emotional stimulation. They crave intensity, and indifference provides it in a way that kindness alone never could. The man who can detach, who doesn't flinch when she withdraws affection or throws out emotional bait, creates a dynamic she can't control. It's that lack of control that pulls her deeper. While most men rush to close the gap when she pulls away, the man who remains centered forces her to step forward to reestablish the connection. What most men fail to see is that indifference is a test of abundance. It signals that you have options, that your time is valuable, that your life has purpose beyond her. It shows that you are not desperate. And desperation is the fastest way to destroy attraction. The less available you are emotionally, the more she invests emotionally. The balance of power shifts, and she begins to chase what she cannot fully possess. When indifference is paired with strength, it creates a magnetic pull that no amount of compliments, gifts, or constant attention could ever match. Women don't want to admit it, but the man who can walk away without hesitation is the man they find hardest to forget. 4. She respects boundaries more than gifts. Most men are raised to believe that effort, money, and endless giving are the ultimate proof of love. They're told that the more they provide, the more a woman will respect and cherish them. But female psychology doesn't work that way. Gifts, dinners, vacations, and constant favors may win her momentary appreciation, but they do not guarantee her respect. What actually earns her lasting respect are boundaries. A man without boundaries becomes invisible in her eyes, no matter how much he gives. A man with boundaries, on the other hand, creates the kind of authority that makes her take him seriously. Boundaries communicate one thing clearly: you value yourself. When you say no to something that disrespects your time, your energy, or your standards, you are teaching her exactly how you expect to be treated. Women instinctively push limits. They will test not just your emotions, but also your tolerance for disrespect, laziness, or neglect. If you allow it, it becomes the new normal. If you calmly stand firm, it creates a line she knows she cannot cross. That line becomes the foundation of her respect and the spark that fuels her attraction. What men don't see is that boundaries actually create safety for a woman. Deep down, she does not want a man who bends over backwards for everything she demands. She doesn't want to be the center of your universe at the cost of your self-worth. She wants a man who can stand up for himself, who doesn't allow her moods or desires to dictate every decision. Boundaries show her that you are unshaken by pressure, that you are in control, and that your leadership is worth following. Every time you give without standards, every time you sacrifice your dignity just to make her smile, you quietly lower your value. It's not that she hates the gifts or the gestures, but without the backbone behind them, they mean nothing. Women will always choose respect over generosity because respect sustains attraction, while generosity without boundaries drains it. The man who can provide yet still enforce his standards is the man who wins both her admiration and her loyalty. 5. Her desire is rooted in uncertainty.
Desire does not grow in comfort, and this is the hidden truth most men ignore. When everything becomes predictable, when every text is answered instantly, when every plan is approved without resistance, her attraction slowly begins to fade. A woman's desire is fueled by uncertainty, by the lingering question of whether she fully has you or if she still needs to earn more of you. This isn't about playing childish games, it's about understanding how female psychology naturally responds to mystery and discipline. Uncertainty forces her to invest. If she knows she can have you at any time, she doesn't value your presence the same way. But when you are not fully available, when you maintain your independence, when you show that your world moves with or without her, she begins to chase. This dynamic is not about neglecting her, but about preserving the parts of yourself she cannot fully control. The man who remains unpredictable keeps her attention because he creates an emotional tension that no comfort can match. Think about it. The stories women tell about the men they can't forget are never about those who were endlessly available and easy to read. They are about the men who carried an air of mystery, who didn't reveal everything, who made her feel both desired and challenged at the same time. That uncertainty makes her question, makes her doubt. She obsesses not because he gave her everything, but because he didn't. Men often confuse stability with predictability. Stability is strength, leadership, and consistency in who you are. Predictability is monotony, the slow death of attraction. She craves the man who is stable in his frame, yet unpredictable in how he engages with her. One moment he is attentive, the next he is focused on his mission. One day he is fully present, the next he is immersed in his own pursuits. This rhythm keeps her desire alive because she cannot settle into complacency. The uncomfortable truth is that the more certain she is of you, the less she desires you. The less certain she is,